Welcome back. So today we have a topic that is a long time in coming. This is all about the use of the bipod. So I had a ton of questions related to my bipod position while running a certain shooting drill, the MRQ and quantified performance. I want to talk through overall my thoughts on the bipod and general principles surrounding it so I can answer those questions basically that are asking me, what are you doing? That is so weird. I've never seen that. So overall principle, you want to make the bipod work for you. So there is no single right answer as far as position. Now, ideally, you want the furthest support, front and rear support, while shooting. So in the prone, conventionally, this is what most people want to see. They want to see their bipod all the way forward. That's very conventional, very traditional, and they're not wrong. So if I was just shooting from the prone, I'm trying to say zero, get a solid group, engage something very small or very far away, I would want, ideally, bipod in the front, bag in the rear. So I have front and rear support, which is always the goal of shooting, ideally. Front and rear support, and I'm maximizing the distance between those two things so I get the most stability. I'll come up, reach all the way up here, tighten down my bipod so it doesn't cant too much. Now I have kind of this like stable position that requires very little input from me to put the gun on target. So I'll move the bag, I'll squeeze the bag a little bit to get the elevation that I want, and here I am now in this position. And I can shoot very accurately here, very consistently. It's very repeatable, but that's not how everything works all the time. So say I come into a position rapidly here, and I'm trying to shoot, but I realize I need some more elevation for my front bipod. You can see I can't reach. At the break position, come up, grab this guy, and start pressing those buttons. And this is a challenge. So maybe I'll take my bipod, I'll bring it back to a position where I can stay behind the gun. And now I can grab those buttons on the front of the Harris. I can adjust elevation without coming out of position. Okay? There we go. So now I have my bipod adjustable from this shooting position. Is this all the way forward? Is it all the way to the rear? No, it's somewhere in the middle. And that's okay. You're trying to make the bipod work for you. Another situation, maybe I'm shooting off of a hard surface. Sometimes you kind of jump in the gun from the bipod on the hard surface. You can't really dig it in like you can on the ground. So I'm here. I want to avoid that bipod jump. So ideally, I could grab my bipod and hold it with my hand. Well, now we're back in another position. So now I can be here on the bipod, on the gun. I can control it and shoot throughout the cycle and keep my hand, my support hand, on the bipod and keep it in position. All right, so let's jump into the MRQ as a drill on its own. So a few things that are universal to pretty much all these competitions. You start with everything in your hands. So I need to get my bag out of my hand in order to shoot this rifle, especially on the MRQ because the first two rounds are going to be standing offhand. So this has to go someplace. I put it where I want on the barricade. Speaking of the barricade, all the time on the MRQ, it is a ladder that has a top rung that you can't utilize. So I can't just take my bipod, put it all the way forward, and then throw it on, right? I need to thread the needle through a barricade and get this thing in. Having the bipod all the way out makes it harder for me to get that thing all the way through. What it also does is put the bipod further away from my arms, so it's harder for me to pull this thing open and activate it. If I have it all the way to the rear, I can place my bag down, open my bipod, and now I can shoot in a normal position, my hand on the handguard. Target 1, target 2, and now I go right into my position, just like I'm throwing that gun into a port. My handguard essentially is completely unobstructed for all of the shooting that doesn't require a bipod. So I come in, and my targets are going to be between 250 and 350, so I'll shoot 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, and now I have to get down into the prone. So again, we're coming into this choice. Hypothetically, I could have had my bipods stowed the whole time and had them all the way forward. So stowed, I come in, I thread this needle, I do what I gotta do to get it in here. Bipods in, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3. Now I'm getting into the prone and I'm trying to activate my bipods, deploy my bipods on the clock, getting into the prone. I would rather not do that. I'd rather just go down the prone with my bipods already deployed. That way I can look at the target that I'm shooting, drop straight down, and have the gun ready to go. Okay, so now we're in the prone from the MRQ. My bipod all the way to the rear. I have a target that's about 600, maybe 700 yards away. All I need to do is have this solid position and break that one shot off. So this is a pretty stable position. There's more to the prone than just where the bipod is. And this position is definitely good enough for what you need to do with the one hit required on the MRQ. What the bipod to the rear also does in this position is it gives me a little bit more height. So if I had a full-size magazine, a 30-round mag, it wouldn't be hitting the deck, forcing my muzzle down in an orientation that I don't want it to be. Note on the MRQ, I see a lot of guys bringing that bag with them to get in the prone, get some rear support. I don't think that's needed. I think it's a waste of time. You spend a lot of time fighting with the bag to get the right elevation in the rear. You could just get prone, get that hand on that stock, get behind your optic, and break that shot. So I don't advocate pulling the bag down and worrying about that on the MRQ. It's a single shot from the prone at a 3-minute target. Get the right hold, estimate the wind correctly, and just make it happen.
Alright, so we see myself shooting an MRQ recently. Good example. I got the bag, I got the bipod. So now all I need to do is just shoot. I shoot from the standing, I shoot from the bag position, I shoot from the prone. I've set everything up, and now I just work through my 3 positions, not thinking about adjusting anything on the gun, messing with bags, anything like that. So we see me training right now on this. I think this footage shows the benefit of the hand position from the bipod rear. You see my support hand is exactly where it would be even if I had no bipod, and then boom, I go right directly into position with no change in connection to the rifle, which makes it consistent, repeatable, and in the end, more accurate. Good prone position, and we see I have no problem breaking that shot and getting the hit. So we have the standard MRQ. Really no secrets here, just be faster, more accurate. I like to go off the top of the ladder. I'm shooting with my top dot. I think that's a massive advantage. Engage that 100-yard target with the red dot. Then I have my 1 dial on the gun for those targets that were 285, 305, and 270 yards. Wrap those guys up, then get in the prone. Then I'm only holding 2.3 mils with my dial at 500. So pretty easy there. Just gotta get your hits. So another benefit of bipod rear is that I'm eliminating the potential here of knocking my bag off of the top of the ladder. Those low bipods could easily snag the bag, and then as I'm pushing my muzzle through essentially what is a port, now I'm knocking my bag forward, downrange, and just causing a whole host of issues.
So another position that I might want to have a bipod closer to me, right, bipod to the rear of the handguard, is on what I would call like a mid-height obstacle, something that's not waist level where I can kneel, it's not so high that I can stand. Maybe I'd be shooting off a bag, but perhaps I only have my bipod So I want to get the bipod on something like this. So I come in, put the bipod on it. Again, think of all kinds of things you see in life that are about this high. Now I can hold my bipod to wherever it is, the railing, the fence, the wall. And now I can grab it and have some support. And again, I can adjust this thing up, down if I have to. Now, if I want to get further away, I can always do that, but now I have more fulcrum up and down. And again, maybe that's just not ideal. Maybe I want some more control over where the bipod is. I want to be able to hold it on the obstacle. Maybe I have nothing for rear support. There's a host of reasons I want to be able to get my support hand on that bipod, maybe hold it to something. So again, we're making this work for us. We're not forcing ourselves into a preconceived notion or a single Picatinny slot in order to fit our bipod where we think it should be rather than what makes it work best for us. To wrap it up, one of the beautiful things about shooting is that there is objective truth, and that is the time and the accuracy. So if someone is doing a thing that looks different to you, but they're faster and they're more accurate, maybe that thing is a good idea. And you can test all of these different positions, all of these different methods and techniques on the clock, on targets, on paper, on steel, and those things will never lie to you. There is objective truth in shooting. It's speed and accuracy. And I think that by exploring how to best use the bipod through a host of positions, you can find for yourself what is objective truth about the best way to use the bipod in different positions. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Any questions, please let me know in the comments. I look forward to interacting with you guys down there. Thanks.